In this video, I'm going to be giving you my top 3 tequilas that you should buy, plus a bonus one at the end, so make sure you stick around for that. So I've had a couple of people complain to me online about how all I do is complain about spirits and moan about which ones you shouldn't buy, especially celebrity spirits. I have millions of views across my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube just trashing celebrity spirits. And that's true, I do. But then I get comments like, why don't you tell us what you actually recommend? Well, that's what I'm here to do. But before we get into my top 3 tequila brands, I just want to say that there are a lot of bad tequila out there, especially some of the most popular names that you probably already know. And what makes a tequila bad versus good is the way that it's made. A lot of tequila producers will cut corners because there are certain loopholes in the law of how tequila can be produced and exported. Some producers get away with adding additives to their tequila so that they can make more money out of it, but it ends up leading to a very inferior product. Not to mention some producers who use agave that is way too young. There's a lot of issues with the tequila / agave market out there, and I don't want to dive too deep in this video about what is wrong with all of that, because that would take an entire hour to explain to you. But just know that some tequila brands are just not good and some are way better. All of the tequilas that I'm going to be showing you in this video, they are all family owned and they are all doing it the right way. Right, let's jump into it. The first tequila that I want to recommend to you is El Tequileno. El Tequileno is actually an OG tequila producer, and they've been around since about 1959. And they are almost like a household name in Mexico, even though in the US they're not quite as popular yet. But they are family owned. I believe it's been 3 generations of the same family producing this incredible tequila, and they are known as pioneers within the tequila space for pioneering autoclaves. And while that does have a bad connotation attached to it when it comes to other brands, the way that they use their autoclaves is very different, and they're actually why it became so popular to use them, because they did it so well. One of the reasons that I love this tequila is that I think it's a great entry point into anybody getting into really good tequila. I find that it doesn't have like a harsher agave flavor to it. It's actually very, very easy to drink. I think the Platino is incredible to drink on its own, but it makes for great cocktails. Palomas, margaritas, it's excellent. Whereas the Reposado and the Añejo are super smooth to just sip on, put a large cube in, and just enjoy it without having that really strong earthy agave flavor. It's still present, but it's not overwhelming. The next tequila brand that I want to talk to you about is El Tesoro. El Tesoro is a brand that's been around for over 80 years, and it's all family owned as well. All of the different generations have been producing the same tequila since 1937, and they're doing it the same way that their grandfather has been doing it throughout all of these years. They use a tajona, which is a giant concrete or stone wheel that's usually pulled by donkey to smash up the cooked agave to then ferment it and distill it. And they really do it the right way, and their focus on family and tradition is very admirable. They have a lot of different expressions. I only have the Añejo here, and I've also had their Blanco, and I think they're both incredible. They have a couple of other higher end expressions and other expressions as well, but El Tesoro is definitely one that I really recommend. Now lastly, the granddaddy, the tequila that if gun to my head, I could only drink one tequila the rest of my life, it'd be this one, Fortaleza. I am in love with this tequila, so much so that the Blanco is empty, and it's just that delicious. Fortaleza is a brand that has over 125 years of history, though it was only actually launched in 2005. I know, confusing. Hear me out for a second. It's been owned by the same family for over 125 years, but through the generations, one of the generations, I think they got sick of just producing tequila. They ended up selling the original brand to another buyer. And so when the other members of the family found out, they were a little upset. And then they relaunched the tequila in 2005 using the same traditions that they had been doing throughout their entire existence. Fortaleza, to me and to a lot of other people in the online tequila space, is one of, if not the best tequila on the market today. In my opinion, the Añejo from Fortaleza stands up to any ultra premium brand out there that's charging $200, $300, $400 for tequila, and the Añejo is like $65, $70 depending on where you find it. It is so incredibly delicious, family owned, additive free, anything you could possibly want out of a tequila, you got it in Fortaleza, and it's just incredible. Highly recommend Fortaleza. They are incredible. And I did say we were going to be doing a bonus tequila, and that bonus tequila is Tromba. And so why do I want to talk to you guys about Tromba? Well, I think that all of the other tequilas that I showed you are excellent, but really good tequila isn't necessarily cheap, and all of those other tequilas will probably range anywhere between $45 and $70. Whereas Tromba, I find it to be incredibly well made, but it is a little bit more accessible in price. Though I do believe the Añejo gets up to about 42 to 45. I believe you can find the Blanco for about $30. This is actually the tequila that I use in our well at our bar. I find that the price is very accessible for the quality of tequila that you're getting. Tromba was created by Marco Sedano. He is a veteran of the tequila industry, and he is the master distiller behind Tromba. He created it in 2010 after about 40 years in the tequila industry, working with some of the biggest names out there. So like I said earlier, there are so many bad brands of tequila out there. Here's looking at you, Kylie Jenner. But these 4 brands of tequila are some that I absolutely stand behind, and I do not believe you will be disappointed if you buy any of these bottles. But if you want to learn more about what tequila is, I'm going to leave a link to 2 different videos right over here that you can check out and learn more about tequila.